It's certainly been an interesting few months, hasn't it? A lot going on in the world and a lot going on online as well. Really Dangerous Odyssey just released, and of course a nice big update for Microsoft Flight Simulator right around the corner. Outside of that, there's plenty of different stuff going on, so welcome to a new Q&A video where I talk with all of you guys and girls about, well, the news and happenings of just about everything and anything. There are, of course, a few questions that people have put over on Patreon quite a while ago, to be perfectly honest, and on the YouTube membership section. It's taken me a lot longer to get around to this video than I would like, and I really do apologise for that. With what's been going on just about everywhere, it's been very difficult to find the time to get this one done. But, here we are. And, as always, I want to say thank you to everyone for the ongoing support from you, both on Patreon as well as YouTube members. It really does mean the world to me, and really does allow me to keep this channel going as it is and keep improving things. One of those you may have noticed is recently I've been doing 4K videos. This one isn't, unfortunately, because it's using slightly older footage, but most of my new videos are 4K, and that is thanks to a new PC which I managed to put together and purchase, largely thanks to the contributions of all of the backers, both on Patreon, again, as well as YouTube members. So yet again, thank you very, very much. And on screen you can see a few screenshots of some of the components that I got that I eventually put together. I'll try and get a photo as well for this video to, if I remember, to show you the PC and now it's all assembled, but pretty nice overall. Now moving on, before we get to the proper Q&A section where I answer the few questions that were posted over on Patreon, I want to talk about a couple of other things that have been going on. One is a very special video that I put together for Microsoft Flight Simulator for a brand new series that I've done called One Earth. So this is essentially a documentary styled series, heavily inspired of course by the Planet Earth documentaries by the BBC, and you will notice that. You can see that on the intro right here. The plan for this is to release the videos once or so every 2 months. Hopefully not any longer than that. The reason being that they take an exceptionally long time to produce, but they're one of the videos I'm actually the most proudest of. The first video, you can see a bit of that on the screen right now, focused on Scotland. Next episode will probably be around about Africa somewhere. With that vast continent, a lot of nice areas to explore there. Now, one of the standout points for me for the first One Earth episode was of course the amazing soundtrack that was put together by Hollywood composer Nolan Markey. A long-time supporter and a good friend of mine, Commander Civilian, made all of this possible. He actually has a lot of contacts in various different industries, and I was talking to him about One Earth series. We were discussing the possibilities of the soundtrack, and he knew straight away that a bespoke soundtrack would be perfect for it. So basically, he went ahead and made all of that possible. So as I said, the score was created by Nolan Markey, and it was played and recorded by Budapest Scoring, or obviously an orchestra over there in Budapest. Really, it was an amazing experience to see all this come together. Extremely grateful, of course, to both Nolan Markey and Civilian for making this all possible, as well as Budapest Scoring. But hopefully, I think it's something you all enjoyed. If you haven't seen it, there is a link to the full video in the description below. Meanwhile, you can hear a little bit of the track playing in the background as I talk. Another nice thing this month come from Frontier. On the screen you can see a box. This was sent to me, as well as a bunch of other content creators and live streamers, as a part of the whole Odyssey experience. So this crate turned up last week on the doorstep, delivered by UPS. Quite unexpected. Very, very heavy package. Lovely box here. And when we opened it up, there was inside a terrarium. You can see the Vista Genomics branding here. Of course, Vista Genomics is the life and plants part of Odyssey. And effectively, it was a terrarium which we put together with the family, myself and the kids and my wife. Had a lot of fun assembling all of this. So my thanks to Frontier for this. Also, you can see this glass ornament. It's laser etched. Inside is a planetary port and a planetary port name. Now, a few weeks ago, actually probably a few months ago at this point, Frontier reached out to me and very randomly just asked, kind of out of the blue, what name would I like to give to a station or a planetary port. Didn't give any context. I gave a name and kind of forgot about it after that. When this pack turned up, there was this glass ornament with that name etched into it, Bowman Ithaca. Very nerdy name actually. For those of you who are probably into nerdy things like me, you all well know that Bowman is one of the characters from the book 2001 A Space Odyssey, and Ithaca is a country from Homer's Odyssey, a very old story. So kind of made a double-barreled name there for a planetary port. What's more, with the release of Odyssey, it turned out that Frontier actually made this a real port that we can all visit in the game. So something we'll hopefully be able to see very soon. I'm recording this on the 19th of May. It's going to be released a little bit later. So as of this point, we're waiting for Odyssey to go live. So unfortunately, I can't include footage of the planetary port in this particular video, but something I wanted to talk about and let you all know. Moving on to the questions then. There's only 2 for this particular video, but no, 2 is a lot better than none. Starting with 712. So I see you've mentioned this before. You're looking to create a YouTube channel. I'll quickly read the comment out just so everyone knows what's going on here. Hi, Obsidian Ann, glad to be here again and thank you for all you do. You're welcome. I'd like to know your opinion. I finally made up my mind and created a YouTube channel. As I've many projects in my mind and my contents would belong to very different categories such as culture, entertaining, art, trivia, I'm afraid some content would be inappropriate as a part of a single channel. One I fear is a lack of identity. At the same time, if my channel started to grow, I considered opening a second channel. But that could be pointless and also a waste of time because I would be back to square one. Should I give up some good ideas for the sake of identity? Should I open up a second channel? Or should I simply make videos about anything in a single channel? So really the question of identity really comes down to what you're trying to aim for when it comes to creating a YouTube channel. Sometimes some YouTube channels are very much, their identity is tied in deeply with the sort of content they make. So for me, I guess that would be Elite Dangerous and Microsoft Flight Simulator. But for other YouTubers out there, especially people who do, variety content or even vlogging style content, then the identity is them themselves, and that could be such for you. So that would mean you could pretty much just create anything you want, a good mixture. For me personally, I think there's nothing wrong with that. That's what my recommendation would be. Go with what you feel happy creating. The variety is a good thing in my book. People enjoy that sort of stuff, and I'm sure viewers would be watching your channel for you rather than what you do, or for you as much as what you do. Let's put it that way. So having a second channel would only be relevant if you're going for something completely and utterly different. So yeah, go for it and do a variety channel. I think that's a good way to start. Now, Avon NZ, perhaps you'd like to hear my ongoing thoughts about VR in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So VR in Microsoft Flight Simulator is a really nice experience, performance issues aside, which you do mention there, and I'll touch on that in just a moment. It's hard to put into context in a certain way. I guess if you're starting to talk about the best VR games out there, then obviously Elite Dangerous is one of those. Another is Alex Half-Life. But Microsoft Flight Simulator really is its own experience because there's not many sims out there that go to such huge detail on the planet Earth and let you explore every single corner of it. So from that point of view, the VR in Flight Simulator is a stunning achievement. When you're inside the plane, looking around the cockpit, it all works perfectly. But look outside the cockpit, if you're travelling at a relatively low altitude, you'll notice that there's still some frame rate problems, and that comes into play due to ground judder as it sort of judders past you. Thanks to the asynchronous time warp in the Oculus, and I guess other headsets have something similar, then you don't really suffer from frame rate problems when turning your head, so you don't get motion sickness. but the frame rate issues outside the plane are still less than ideal, and currently I'm running on a Ryzen 7 3800X and a RTX 3080. So yeah, I do think it's going to get better though. I think when Microsoft get Flight Simulator running on the DirectX 12, it's going to be a different kettle of fish entirely. They have said that there is big performance boost. They said they've gained nearly 3 times performance increases in certain areas of the sim. So when's the DirectX 12 version of Flight Simulator coming out? Well, apparently that's going to be with the Xbox launch of the sim, and that is in the summer. No fixed date just yet, but should be within the next few months. And keep in mind, it's nearly been a year now since Microsoft Flight Simulator released on PC, so I think that would mark a good potential candidate release window for an Xbox version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, so that would be August. So there we have it, relatively a brief update, but keeping you up to date with what's going on. Thanks again for all your support, and I'm very much looking forward to the next bunch of videos. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.